Welcome to the second Consortium of Accredited Healthcare Organizations Conference 2016. Thank you so much for joining us and coming from all over the country to join us today. CAHO aims at continually raising the bar of healthcare as a body, and this year's theme is Quality Beyond Accreditation. We would like to also welcome you to Bangalore, home of several accredited hospitals and hence making one of the major healthcare hubs in this country. This conference is divided over 2 days where we will, in addition to covering a varied range of topics, we'll also have a special session with the CEOs of the accreditation bodies and also a debate on the very reason we are here. Before we begin, delegates, here are a few guidelines that you may follow for the duration of this conference. Please keep your ID cards on your person at all times. Kindly keep your phone switched off or on silent mode. And we have some time reserved for question and answer sessions after every session. So please keep your questions until then. Now, let's start off with the first plenary session, which is on healthcare quality and its challenges. May I invite Dr. Nagendra Swamy, Senior President of the Manipal Health Enterprises, Group Medical and Chairman of Quality Council of MHE, to introduce the chair people for the first session. Dr. Nagendra Swamy.
Good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to Bangalore, and welcome to second CAHOCON National Conference on the Quality. I think we have a very interesting first session to roll out. It's my honor to introduce today's two main chairpersons for today's session. The first and foremost is Dr. Giridhar Gyani. I don't think anyone requires any introduction. A man who started the quality journey in this country and who is responsible for the NABH, the starting of NABH, and still continuing to be leading it from the front in various forms and forms. And Dr. Giridhar Gyani is today the Director General of the AHPI of the national body, and also a friend, philosopher, and guide on anything that is required on quality. May I request Alex to accompany Dr. Giridhar to the dais, please. The next chairperson of this session is Dr. Rajendra Pratap Gupta. I call him doctor because of different reason. He is a health policy maker. He has just recently, as early as yesterday, he released a book called Reforms of Healthcare in India in Bangalore, and also has written numerous health-related policy to the country. And also, he is the champion who did the BJP election manifesto for the BJP to come to the power in the center, and also a great proponent of common man's healthcare issues. And luckily, we have with him to share his views also and to chair the session. Can I request Dr. Alex to bring him over to the stage? Dr. Rajendra Pratap. Now, I will leave the session to the two chairs people to take over. The common podium is they will maintain the time, they will introduce the speakers, they will sum up the session. That's how we are going to roll out the first power-packed session. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Now I am seeing CAHOCON. I am very happy that in 2012, when I was just leaving the NABH, we really thought, some of the friends, they came together and they thought that accredited hospital is the most important stakeholder in NABH. And the accredited hospital had no say at that point of time in the NABH board. And the question is that this CAHOCON has been created as a body. What actually the title is saying, actually this is not title for today's conference. This title actually depicts the very purpose of the CAHO. That is quality beyond accreditation. NABH will bring you to the accreditation, but this CAHO will take you beyond accreditation. So that actually is going to be the most important body, I will say, in the country in time to come. So I'm very happy that the birth of CAHO, which took place late 2012, today is well grown up baby, and now this has to be sustained, nurtured, so that this really propels the quality in our country. That is my initial about the CAHO. Now coming to the session, in fact, Nagendra has done a very difficult job for us, because I am seeing the three stalwarts, you name them, and they are in this session, and he says that in 1 hour, these three gentlemen had to speak. I think we are not really doing justice to these three gentlemen, Dr. Devi Shetty, Dr. Balal, and Dr. Nand Kumar Jairam. Again, these are the three persons, actually not in Bangalore. They incidentally are from Bangalore, but India knows them, world knows them as far as healthcare is concerned. And we are very proud that we have Dr. Devi Shetty. I keep saying, I think very rare combination, clinician par excellence, entrepreneur par excellence. I don't think you will get these two qualities in many people. Incidentally, Dr. Balal is another in the same category, I will say. I'll absolutely bracket him in the same fashion. And the two gentlemen will speak. And of course, Nand Kumar is my old friend. Why I call him my old friend? Because when we were creating NABH, it was very difficult to find people who will say, okay, we'll work in healthcare quality. Very few clinicians will come for that, and he was the one picked up by us with great difficulty, and he co-chaired the NABH accreditation committee, first co-chair of the accreditation committee. I think that is the way NABH came under his guidance and leadership. So I think these are the three speakers which will be sharing. Unfortunately, time is very limited, 15 minutes for each, or maybe at the most 20 minutes. I will only say the starting line that one expert mentioned other day from UK, who was in India, that he is seeing very bright future of quality in healthcare in India. And as for him, he says in next 5 years, there will be two kinds of hospitals in the metro towns. One, which are quality hospital, which are smart hospital, which are intelligent hospitals, and other who will not have any business. So I think that sums up how the quality is being perceived and projected in next 5 years, at least in the metro towns. So without wasting time now, I will invite Dr. Devi Shetty to come and speak to us on quality perspective and the healthcare perspective in our country. Dr. Devi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely grateful to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to talk about the quality. Quality is synonymous with safety. How safe hospitals are today for the patients. Patients feel that hospitals are the safest places for the patients, but unfortunately they are not the safest places. Forget about Indian hospitals, let's look at US hospitals. If 200 patients get admitted to an American hospital, which is supposed to be some of the safest hospitals on the planet, if 200 patients spend just one night in American hospital, 1 out of 200 dies due to medical error. It is not medical negligence, it is medical error. If you compare with aviation, today getting admitted to an American hospital is 10 times riskier than skydiving. More patients die due to hospital errors than the combined death of breast cancer, road traffic accident, and HIV. This is where we are. Why quality in the hospital suffers today? It is predominantly because of people who manage the hospitals, not because of the people who work at the hospital. This is a very strong statement by Captain Sullenberger. Have you heard of Captain Sullenberger? Captain Sullenberger is the person who landed a plane on River Hudson when the engine broke down and saved the lives of all the passengers. So he was asked to study the safety in American hospitals, and after spending a lot of time, he came up with a statement that a doctor could alternatively be God or a cowboy, ruling the hospital by preference or whim, with insufficient consideration for best practices or procedural standardization. This is the biggest problem why hospitals are unsafe. We looked at addressing the issues one by one. I'll just give an example of bed sore, pressure sore following heart surgery. Globally, accepted norm for a bed sore is 7% to 40%. If you have bed sore to the tune of 7% to 40%, it is acceptable. That is okay for an American hospital which does 200 heart surgeries a year and gets recognized as a center of excellence. We do close to 700 heart surgeries a month. So if 10% of the patients develop bed sore, we need to create a separate hospital for patients with the bed sore. That is not possible. So our nurses took it up on themselves around 4 years ago. How do we standardize process to address the bed sore? First of all, patient didn't come to us with a bed sore. So they came up with an accountability system wherein the nurses in the ward, as soon as the patients get admitted, inspect the sites where bed sore can happen, and if there is any suspicious sites, they take a picture and save it to protect themselves that the patient came with the bed sore. Then patient goes to the operation theater. The nurses in the operation theater do the same process, looking at the pressure points, so that if the patient came with the ward, they can always blame the ward nurses for beginning of the bed sore. Then patient went to the ICU, same process got repeated. Everyone wanted to ensure that they didn't give the bed sore, somebody else did. And eventually when the bed sore happens, we can hold a group of people accountable. And every Friday or Saturday we have the mortality morbidity meeting. We wanted the matron to come and present to all the doctors about the incidence of bed sore, because ultimately she is accountable. By doing this, you'll be surprised, we read in the last 4 years now, the incidence of bed sore is reduced to a fraction of what it was. Sometimes it goes to nearly 0% or climbs to maximum of 0.5% or 1%. And nurses wrote up the protocol, and this was published in American Nursing Journal as one of the best protocols to prevent bed sore. This is how quality happens. Quality happens by involving the grassroots level workers with a support and blessings from the top management. If you want better quality of nursing, better outcome, and safe hospital in India, we have to empower our nurses. Today, when you are talking about quality and safety, it is nothing but nursing care. Nurses are the most important caregivers in the entire spectrum of delivering healthcare. But unfortunately, nurses in this country are not empowered. This is the biggest problem. In US, 67% of anesthesia is given by nurse anesthetists. In India, a nurse who has worked in the ICU for 20 years is legally not allowed to prescribe even basic painkillers. Unless we empower the nurses and support them, you can never have the kind of quality outcome like an European or an American hospital. It's simply not possible. Because, let's put it this way, your idea about how a hospital is, today when we talk about a 100-bed hospital, we think about 90 beds for the ward and the rooms, 10 beds for the ICU. In 10 years from now, the ratio will reverse. 90% of the 100-bed hospital will be ICU beds. Only 10 beds will be ward and room beds. Because whatever we are going to do in the room will be done at home. There is no need for patient to get admitted for a medical care. So hospital will become predominantly a critical care units. In a critical care unit, who takes care of the patients? Are the doctors taking care? No. Doctors come when there is a problem, they do routine rounds, but it is a nurse who stands beside the patient for 12 hours and takes care of the patient. So unless they are empowered, unless they are remunerated, we are not going to get the quality outcome what we expect. Fortunately, Indian Nursing Council has now launched the nurse practitioner's course for critical care nurses. It's a 2-year course. We want as many hospitals in the country as possible to start these courses. It's a 2-year full-time course, hands-on training. It's not an academic course where the nurse sits in the classroom. The entire curriculum is written in a manner there is hardly any theory classes. It's all about hands-on experience. The most important thing is when these girls graduate, pay them well. That is very important. The only way nurses will get excited to take up this course and become a nurse practitioner is the incentive of money. Money drives everyone. Let's be very realistic. So they have to be paid well, but they have to be made accountable. So there is an opportunity for us to address the grassroots level of problem affecting the quality of healthcare in our country by empowering the nurses, and we have to work for it. Coming back to the nursing care, whenever I just want to repeat Captain Sullenberger's statement, conventional wisdom often has it that if a nurse makes a mistake, he or she should be terminated. But the vast majority of harmful events are due to system failure and not practitioner error. The leaders are responsible for the maintenance of the support system, not the caregivers. It is very important that when a nurse makes a mistake, we have to address the system and the process, not just sack her or punish her. It is very, very important that every procedure gets standardized and commoditized. Just want to quote Henry Ford's statement that standardization by the commoditization of the process increases the safety, reliability, and reduces the cost. So essentially, if you really want to build the hospital of the future, we have to start equating the Department of Quality with the Department of Finance. In a hospital, the most powerful person is the person who controls the finance. So unless the quality department gets the same importance, you will never see the kind of outcome you expect to see. Now, what is required to become a high reliability organization? For that, we need the commitment from the governance, from the top management. And every issue regarding the quality should be discussed at the highest level. And leadership should be made responsible, not the caregivers. So essentially, just want to compare how quality standards makes the industry safe. You look at some of those industries like aviation industry. When you admit one of your relative to a ICU, you will always ask, who is the person taking care of my father or mother, or what is his qualification, what his credentials are. But when you board a plane, you never ask what is the qualification or experience of the pilot, because you take it for granted that if somebody is licensed to fly the plane with 200, 300 people on board, he is trained and he is credentialed. But we don't have the same confidence when it comes to the question of admitting your own loved ones to the hospital, because there is no quality assurance and there is no standardization. Look at the nuclear aircraft carriers. The incidence of accidents in nuclear carrier is extremely, extremely small. And air traffic control, they control thousands of flights landing and taking off. Everything happens on a precision. In the end, I just want to finish my talk stating that the level of quality of healthcare in India today and across the world today, forget about India, is that if healthcare was an airline, only dedicated risk takers, thrill seekers, and those who are tired of living would fly in it. This is where we are. Something has to be done to improve the situation. I'm extremely grateful to you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. No, sir, I have to leave.
So maybe, because he will be leaving, any one or two questions, very small, which you want to put to Dr. Devi? Anybody from the students? Okay. Okay, one question, okay.
So what is this thing? Will there be a health regulatory authority like we have ICAO coming up very soon as per your the future what we see in the healthcare?
See, the way I look at, instead of an external agency coming and monitoring us, telling us what to do, it is better we evolve a system and go for a self-regulation we do have NABH-like organization, so we have to see how we can use all these existing organizations or create an organization by ourselves rather than you allow the quality to deteriorate to such a level that the government will be forced to create a big brother organization. Then we all will be very uncomfortable in dealing with that situation. So my request is we have to create an organization by ourselves which will monitor the quality like NABH. Maybe NABH can itself can take the role of assessing the quality outcomes.
Okay, one more question, yeah, from the audience, yeah.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Dr. Kansal, currently working on patient safety, etc. at the national level. So one of the challenges that we are facing is that there is no focal point even in the Ministry of Health who would think through in a bigger way and in a big picture way on patient safety, infection control, etc. How can we address this challenge as well?
See, if we have to go to the level that the Ministry of Health has to tell us what to do and improve the quality of outcomes, we have failed. And that may not be the ideal way. We should function ourselves in a manner that ministry has no need to ask the question about the quality, because in Indian hospital, quality is taken for granted and everyone expects it becomes a standard of care. Because in my experience, anytime the ministry started getting into these areas, the results were never the optimal. Thank you.
Okay, Gupta will ask question. One.
Dr. Shetty, I am not only a very big
I should
fan
be
of-
asking him the questions.
So I preempted that. So I'm a very big fan of yours, like I think almost everyone sitting in the room besides your student. So if we expected, or thought that one day all public and private hospitals will declare the success rates, would that be one way to look at improvement of quality of healthcare?
Rajan, we have no choice. It's a matter of time before it will happen. There is no need for a law for us to declare our outcome. It is a matter of time before we will be forced to declare our outcome, because that's what the patient will want. Today there is no need because hardly anybody is doing it. It is a matter of time before they will come up with their outcome and the patient will demand. Then we have no choice. It is a natural progression. It is going to happen. Thank you.